Welcome back to the bench, guys. We've got a little bit something different today. Something actually modeling, which is something I've kind of wanted to be this channel more about, but kind of just been figuring things out still, really. But today I kind of wanted to do how I do camouflage. And I really have only done camouflage one time. It was on the P40 that you can get at Hobby Lobby, and it turned out pretty okay. I went the tape method. Obviously, you can tape it up however you want. But most guys, at least more advanced guys I've seen, they'll use their fine airbrush. Get the pressure down way low. They'll really draw those in. So I wanted to attempt that because it worked pretty well on that Avenger that I did with just the two-tone blue. It wasn't camouflage, but it's the same idea, just making a different shape. So I thought we would attempt that today because this is actually a good opportunity on this plane where I kind of just picked it up from the Kit Links Kit Links warehouse sale. And I really did not have any plans for it. I'm knocking everything over. So we are going to do this scheme because it'll be a good learning opportunity. So how am I going to approach this? First thing standing out to me is this white color. I'm sure it's not a true white, but post weathering, we'll dull that down, so it'll be a lot easier to paint the white over this gray primer instead of over everything else. So we're going to use this Tamiya white. It's the best white that I own. And then for this green color, and like I said, guys, this is more just, I usually try to have the paints I want before I start something, but this is just kind of on a whim build. Sometimes you just need something to kind of refresh what you're doing. So the closest color I have is actually this Army Green by the Army Painter. I am a little bit worried about it. This light isn't doing too much justice. Anyway, it looks a lot closer when you actually see the paint. When I was a miniature painter, I was a big advocate of the Army Painter because it was affordable to me. It was easy to get. But now with, paints like Tamiya Mini costing me less than $3, acrylics are kind of expensive in my mind. But anyway, this is the closest color I have. And, I've used this. We'll see about the durability. Is my only worry on these. I try not to use them too much. This is their old line, by the way, and this paint I've probably had for about 2 years, so we'll see how it happens. I'm not too worried about it. And then obviously this is a black color, so I'm just gonna use Tamiya black. So I'm gonna spray this whole thing white off camera, and then we'll do some of the actual camouflage. I'll try to set this up so where we can see it on camera. So I will be right back. Alright, and just like that, we are back. Nice coat of white. It's still wet. I actually kind of found a little trick that most of you probably know. I add a little bit of this retarder, and it really lets the paint level out. Otherwise, to me, it dries really fast. But I'm going to let this dry before we go on. with our coats. Most of this ends up being green, so I may actually do the black first, just 'cause I'm not going to do the whole thing on video. Yeah, it looks like there's more green, and I'm not sure about how this is going to work, so I'd rather do this on my own time. So we'll do some with the black, and so I will see you guys at the air booth right next to me if I can get this all set up to where I can still paint. So we'll see you guys over there. Alright, here we are at my booth. A little more time has passed, just trying to make sure this paint is nice and dry. So I'm gonna try to do this with the booth off, or else it'll be super loud. But if there's too much blowback, we'll have to turn it on. But yeah, we'll see how this works. This is new for me. I'm not trying to go for exactness, but I do have kind of the look I'm going for above me, just for reference material. It kind of, I think it helps. So I've already got my paint mixed up. We're going to be using my Tamiya gun, and I'll be spraying at 10 psi. So let's get on with it. Hopefully you can hear me over my airbrush compressor. Alright guys, I'm gonna try to not watch the camera. Let's see, try to be focused here. So just make sure we got a good spray. I like having this cardboard in my booth so I can kind of test my spread. We're gonna try for I'm at 10 psi like I said, and you just kind of, the trick is to keep moving, or else you'll get like a puddle or a spider web. I'm working a little thin. We're 50-50 plus a little paint retarder. Okay. And if you don't have to do it all in one coat, and then you just kind of dry that off there. Color that in. There is a little overspray, so I probably could have gone a little thinner, but this will be green, so we'll hide that. Let's do a little more here. A lot of this. There we go. Sometimes you just gotta get a little closer, and then it kind of, at least a lot of the artwork I've seen goes over the fuselage here. That might be a lot of, I did kind of want to do right here black at the wing roots, just to make sure we hide our seam a lot more definitely, because it was a little bit harder of an area to reach with the sanding sticks. A lot of times I will stop and kind of hit this with the air just to kind of flash it off. Sometimes once it dries, it's a little more transparent just because I have the paint a little bit thinner. You can practice this on spoons or paper, but being a father of two, I don't have like unlimited time, you know, so I try to make the best time that I can. We'll see if we can get up and around this engine cover here. Make a nice little line. The nice thing about this is it's super low pressure, you know. Let's see, let's see. And obviously it doesn't have to be perfect, you know, this is camouflage, so you don't have to be perfect. It's a little bit harder to do around this kind of strange shape. I did get a lot of overspray there, so I'll probably have to make that green just to hide it. But there's not too much white showing. Mainly I did that for the it'd be harder to paint the white over any of these other colors since they're so dark. And you can go the tape method. That's how I did the P40. The tape method works really good, I think, for smaller scale and you know, two color camouflages. I'm not sure how you would do a 3 color, if I'm being honest, without having to get, you know, really tricky with the tape. Trying to get this weird shape a little more even. Really don't want to have to go over this again later. after I've, you know, let it dry. You kind of want to make sure you get it nice and filled in all the way. Definitely takes a lot more patience, but if that's one thing, you know, a lot of this has taught me is when you rush it, that's when you mess up. Put a fingerprint in something, or rip a decal, or, you know, spider web your paint, or get a sag. So I think that looks pretty good. Let's try to do something back here. You can see on the edges there I get a little, I didn't quite get off the piece, so that's what I mean. You gotta be fast or super light on the trigger, or you get a nice little spider web. I'll flash this off a little bit. Takes a really steady hand. Okay, so you can kind of see what I'm talking about. We'll actually meet you back at the bench, and we'll look at this. Okay, here we are back at the bench where we can kind of show you guys. So it's actually pretty easy, you know. Just make some squiggles. Just make sure you're really close and low pressure. Otherwise, you can see overspray there. You know, it's in stuff like this isn't the end of the world. Like, I'll just make my green there, you know, and then we'll have white in the middle here. So it's not the end of the world. It doesn't need to be super duper complicated. You know, you don't need to be an expert. This is really the first time ever, and I did it on camera, behind a camera. And, you know, it's obviously not done. You know, I've got a lot more to go. But you can see it's, you know, it just takes... Admittedly, I have used my airbrush a lot on all the models that I have painted, so you kind of learn that control. And obviously you want thinner paint. I would also recommend a retarder, just so you don't get like dry needle, especially if you're going to use a pure acrylic, well, a water-based acrylic, I guess I should say. You will get dry tip, and it just kind of makes it not fun. But yeah, let me know what you guys think. I'm going to keep working on this. Hopefully the booth wasn't, or the compressor wasn't too loud. And I know the camera would focus on my hands and stuff, but I wanted to kind of show you like a beginner's mode. My first time doing this. But yeah, let me know what you guys think. How do you paint your camouflage? Do you prefer using masking tape, or you know, do you like to just go right for it? Let me know in the comments, guys, and we'll see you in the next video.